So this is part 6 of how to create a pyramid chart in Chart.js. So far we have this color here, but I was not satisfied with that because we'll be needing certain values from a label. So let's start to work on creating the label first. So what I will do here, this is the background box or something like that, or backdrop. And here will be the label. So let's work on the label. A lot of these label parts will be eventually applied in here anyway. So this is very similar to each other. So the first thing what I want to do is to say ctx.font equals, and then we're going to say here, this will be bold. I would like to have 15 pixels in size, and the font family will be sans serif, which is a default Chart.js font family. So next what I want to do is I want to give it a color. I will say here ctx.fillStyle, and the color will be black, I guess, font color. Once we have that, we can start to work on putting in the text. So we're going to say here ctx.fillText, and within the field text here, what I'm going to do here is we need here a label, we need the X position and the Y position. So this will be quite easy because we have this one here, put it in there, and we can just put in this one for now here. And the label here would be basically, and that's the reason why we have the data here, this item here from the data, we can get data directly to labels and get an index 1 all the way to the last one. So once we do this, and then here for the Y value index 0 for now, let's save that. Oh, and then of course this one here, sorry, I was being so distracted. What we can do here is how do we get this value? It's basically the data here. We have this data object destructuring. So if I scroll up here, it's basically from data to labels. So what I can say here is just the data.labels index 0, for example. If I refresh, we get now here the value. So this works nicely. You might say, well, hold on, it's not really in the center. That is correct, because right now the alignment is on the left side. So that will mean ignore everything on the left and push it to the right. So what I'm going to do here, ctx text align. We put this in the center, save, refresh. Alright, so that starts to look much better. This one, let's comment this out for now. It's too distracting. And let's put in this here multiple. So how do we do this? Well, we can make a nice functionality out of it because we can loop through every label that we have with a for each loop or for each loop method. So we say here for each, and then in here, let's do it like this because I probably will need to have the label, but also I need to have the index, or I might use it. So what I'm going to do now is just going to change this. So say here for every label, we're going to do here. And then of course, remember the Y was in a category axis where we work with index values. So we can just say here, this will be the index. So then of course, cut this all out, put it in here, indent, 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 save, refresh. There you are, and it starts to look quite nice, exactly in the center. But as you can see here, I'm not satisfied because it's so hard to read. Let's build our background box. So what I'm going to do here, let's undo this. But then here, of course, you can see here, we need to work with it. So how does this work? Let's see what we need here. I guess this will be very important for us, and I will explain later on why. So the reason why I do this one here is, later on I will measure the width of the text here, but the text width by default is set on 12 pixels, or the font size. So I need to make sure the font size is on the right pixel size of 15 pixels, then we can calculate the width of it. If you don't do that, you have the wrong measurement of the width. So what I need to do here now is we have this one, and I guess we can already do some part of it. I'm just going to copy all of this here, all the logic of it here, and then we can just say here that will be this, and then like that, or sorry, just copy this and just put it in there. Save that, refresh. Of course, nothing happens yet. What we can do here now is the round drag. The value on the X will be always same, but this one here will be based on the index. So you can see here now it starts to work, but we're not done yet. This one here, maybe we can do it in light gray. Save, refresh. You can see here, this is very important, by the way. I'll make sure that the background box will be drawn first before we draw the labels. If you do the other way around, what will happen is this will be drawn first and this would be undrawn on top of it. So we want to avoid that so that we have the right order of drawing. So now we have that already and cleared out. I want to make sure we calculate the width of that. To calculate the width, we have here this label information, and all I want to do here is saying constant text width, and then the text width here will be equal to what exactly? Well, the canvas has a method to calculate it. We're going to say ctx.measure text, whatever the label is, and then we say here, give me the value of that in pixels, but specifically for the width. So we have here now the text width. We can now put in here, which was the width, and this was here basically the height. So we put in this here, the width. We know it's about 15 pixels. We could say here maybe 20 pixels. If I save this, refresh, now it starts to get better. So what we're going to do now is we have to move this a bit more up, get it more in position. So how do we do this? Well, we have to think from a different point of view here. Right now we have this here, but basically if you know here the width of it, we can probably go 50% of the text like that. So what we can say here on the text width, well, we have that here, this one. I'm going to say here minus text width divided by 2, and then just to make sure I give this priority. Save, and as you can see here, now it starts to go and cover it underneath nicely. Now I want to push it up basically the half of the text size, which is, well, we have here 20. I think 20 is quite decent because we have like padding top and bottom, but we still need to make a padding left and right. I'll do that later on. Let's say here we can say minus 10. So we have here 20. If I do minus 10, we're going up here. All right. So now we have that. What I do want to do now is to extend this a bit more with the text width. So you have here the text width where we measure the width in pixels of every item, but I'm going to say here, because I want to have a padding of, let's say 6 pixels left and 6 pixels right. So I say here plus 12 pixels. Save, refresh, and now we have this beautiful item here with nice rounded borders as well, covering exactly in the center. We could have a border around this as well if you want to. Quite straightforward to do. All we have to do here is the following. Let's say here ctx.line width to define how many pixels in thickness we want. Line width will be equal to, let's say, 2 pixels. Then we're going to say here the color, so say stroke style. What will be the border color of this? Let's make this, I'm just going to grab here any color. I guess this color here, there will be red, I guess. We'll see, or the reddish color. And then we have that here, we have the fill. Then we also say here ctx.stroke. That will be the command to draw the line. If I refresh that, you can see here we get this here, and it looks all very nice and working. And probably this should be maybe another color. We can make it black. That will be probably more appropriate. Make this black. Save, refresh, and there we are. That looks absolutely stunning. And you can see here, let's check the labels. Tooltip, where are you, tooltip? There we are. Save, refresh, and everything all together looks quite nice. Beautiful. And that is how you can create a custom pyramid chart in Chart.js with our custom labels or the built-in labels example that I showed you.